What's happening, y'all? Welcome back. This is another edition of Creators in Creation, where we spend time talking with different creators in media because creators are cool. I am your host, Lord Cussalot Travis Pointer, aka the Dragon King, aka Big T, aka T Money, aka Sweet T, aka Black Merlin, aka the HNIC, and I'm joined today by a very, very special guest. Actor, writer, creator extraordinaire, Mr. David Crownson. How are you today, sir?
I'm great, Travis. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. I'm a little tired, but I'm making it,
I feel you.
David, the people who don't know you, why don't you tell the folks who you are and what you do? What makes David Crownson special?
Oh, what makes me special? Oh, shit. I'm the founder of a publishing company called Kingwood Comics, Black owned by me. And I publish a series called Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, which is written and created by myself. That's the book. That's the
mean
comic.
This one? You mean
yes,
this one?
That one.
This one
yes,
right here?
That one.
You made this?
Yes, I did.
Extraordinary work. Extraordinary work.
Thank you. And so I published that under my own company, and within, I think, starting my own company. Well, I had the comic book first, but anywho, it's being made into a TV show and being developed through Disney with Prentice Penny. So really excited about that.
That is exciting. So as you said, it's going to be made into a show that's going to be live action, animated.
Yeah, it's going to be live action.
Nice. Okay, because you mentioned that before, and I just assumed right off the top of my head it was going to be animated, but no, it's going to be live action. That's even better.
Yeah, man. Like, it's going to be. I think I brought it up, being animated, and they were very much like, it's going to be live action. I was like, okay.
If you can make that happen, then make that happen. All right.
Like I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah, it just seemed logical that animation would be the easier way to do. But if you're gonna push it and make it live action and put the money behind it to make that happen, do it.
Yeah, man. So I'm really excited because they're giving me a lot of creative leeway with it.
That's great.
And we're just trying to get the perfect script together and the perfect team together. Because making TV or just adapting something from a comic book to a TV show, it's a lot of work and a lot of world building. Because a lot of the time, I wrote the first issue. I think I wrote the first issue. It took me a year to write the first issue, and we had to make some changes to it because I hired an artist. Corlin Ellis, who's amazing, and then adjusting to his style for the first chapter. But now that we're doing a TV show, we can explore because I think it also for budgetary reasons. I'm independent, and these comics cost a lot of money to produce, to pay the artists, to print them. So I had a budget for a 30-page something first issue. So and it still came out great. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah,
but also
they do say limitations inspire creativity. So
oh yeah. And same thing with now that we have this TV show, we have an hour to explore, so basically the first episode is going to be the first 3 issues.
Okay.
Because now you're dealing with emotion, and you're dealing with with the comic book, it's like this one page, this one specific panel tells this story. But now with TV shows, things are moving, and also I think since actual human beings are going to live and say these words, it gives us a chance to delve deeper. And also ask okay, wait, why is this here? I think at first I was like, oh, I just had that there because I thought it looked cool. I'm not going to say that in the room, but I'll just be like, Oh, okay, wait, so why did that? Because I think even when we say like, oh, this looks cool, we always have to delve deep. Okay, like there has to be like a reason why.
Right.
This, so just kind of delving deeper into the motivations of these characters and what they all need, what they all want, and how they're going to go about getting it.
Yeah.
While also having like vampires and demons.
About to say, still having fun with all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of motivations, let's talk about your motivations for a second here, because there's a couple things I came across while reading this story, and I'm like, did he do this just so he could? Okay, so I'll just talk about one specific. I'm not going to do everything in the book that I noticed, but just one that stood out to me. Did you name that one particular vampire Roger just so you could do that go home Roger joke?
No. No. Yo, okay. So like,
that's the kind of thing I would do.
Originally, that character, his name was Don, or like Donnie, and he when we were making the comic book, we thought for fun we would have him look like a certain presidential figure that I won't say.
Right.
And we were just having fun.
It's like that name around here. I got you.
Yes. So we kind of based it off of him just a little bit, just for fun, and didn't think anything of it. And then like, oh shit, it's real. and oh shit, he won. What the fuck? Okay.
Yeah.
Changing the name right the fuck now. I don't want to inspire, though I disagree with so-and-so's politics, I don't want to inspire his murder and then be like, it was David Crownson.
It was this comic book, right? I mean, that would sell a lot of comic books, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that would sell a lot of comic books. I would just have to, and I wouldn't mind doing this. I'm like, all right. I guess I will never visit an open carry red state again. I will never come.
I mean, that's just kind of like, what was that book back in the day? They said that the dude read it and inspired him to try to kill Ronald Reagan, The Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You like that guy.
But mine would be like hilariously like blatant shit.
Yeah.
Not like a subtle nuance of reading in between the lines. So I just right away I'm like, yeah, we're changing the name. I think I was driving when it happened, and I drove by, like, I was in New Jersey at the time, and I saw that they were closing down a Roy Rogers. It was like this popular burger chain.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we're gonna call him Roger. And I always wanted something cool for him to say at the end when Harriet kills him. I was like, man, I always wanted her to say something cool and something funny. And I also just, I was really inspired by, I wanted like 90s nostalgia in it for someone, for my, like, okay, I'm gonna be 37 this year, and I grew up on like Sister, Family Matters, and I thought, oh man, I thought, okay, it would be so funny and so cool if I put like iconic black 90s things in my comic book as like a thank you for infusing me with that creativity.
Yeah.
And every issue of Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer is named after either a black film or a Michael Jackson album.
I did notice the Michael Jackson album names. It was
yeah. Like chapter 1 is called Moonlight. Chapter 2 is called Speed Demon. Chapter 3 is
lesser known Michael Jackson song, but one of my favorites.
Yes. No one knows about Speed Demon. And then Thriller. I think that the only non-black thing is maybe like chapter 6. Chapter 6 is Hocus Pocus. but it's still like, 90s
But it made
stuff,
sense though. Yeah, it fit.
So yeah, I really just wanted to, the motivation was to avoid the like political uproar, and then like as you're right, I was like, wait, I think I can. Wait, I know what she can fucking say when she kills him at the end, and that was like,
okay. So starting your own comic book company, where did that begin? Where does David Crownson decide I'm gonna do this myself?
Yeah, so I had been doing it since, I got the idea for Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer in 2015, researched all throughout 2015, and started writing it in 2016, raised the funds in 2016, self-published the first 2 issues in 2017. And it was a lot of work, and it was really hard self-publishing. So I was under the impression, like, oh, I've had a successful Kickstarter. I'll easily get a famous big name publisher to publish my comic book and distribute it for me.
Yeah, clearly, because I'm a big deal now. I did a big Kickstarter.
Oh yeah. Like I raised like something like, to me at the time, that's a lot of money. $20,000.
What I raised on Kickstarter, I'm with you.
Yeah, but like 20 grand to me at that time is like actually fuck it. Today, that's still a lot of money. but like, usually to get noticed by either the big 2 or these other places, you got to do at least like 100,000.
6 figures, yeah.
Yeah, 200,000. And in my Kickstarter, it was still like a success because I did it during the holiday season, which is never do a Kickstarter during. I don't know. I always pick challenging times. Up until now, I've always selected challenging dates to do my Kickstarters. I don't know why that is. Like, I think the first Kickstarter for Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer was during like Christmas. The second Kickstarter for Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer was when Avengers Endgame was coming out, and when Game of Thrones was premiering the last 4 episodes.
That was a hell of a summer.
Yes. So I was stressing out that summer. It was a miracle we made 20 grand. But anywho, so back to your question, I would have many meetings with lots of different publishers over the course of like 3 years. And they would either say, hey, we love the book, we want to do it, but we love the book, would love to publish it, but we want to have more scenes of Harriet Tubman being whipped. We want to have your book is way too much fun, it has too much action in it, so we think it would be appropriate if Harriet had more scenes of her being whipped and all this other stuff. Sorry, I'm repeating myself, but like
that's what stood out to you. So that,
I just was like,
that's odd. Yeah,
I was just like, it was this white woman saying all this shit to me. So I was like, and so, or I would have like they would want to publish it, but I couldn't release it during certain times. Like the power of having my own company is I can say we're releasing this comic book on Juneteenth because that's the date I want to be doing this, and that's what makes sense to me.
Makes perfect sense to me too.
And they would be like, yeah, no, that doesn't fit into our catalog year, so you are going to release it you're going to release it in like January.
Can't even do it in February during Black History Month.
I'm like, yeah, you can't do Black History Month. Well, we have these other comic books coming out in February, and they were all white comic books.
I was about to say, so you switched that shit? Like, what did you?
Yeah, I'm like, switch it. And they're like, well, we can't because we've already done our pre-orders and pre-prints already. And I was like, man, I'm tired of working in this model. Like, yeah, you guys move so slow. Like I move a little bit slow now that I'm taking on more people, I'm trying to publish more indie creators, and we move a little bit slower because we're really trying to make the best possible product, and also we're short on hands. These multi-million-dollar companies like move so slow, so I was getting really frustrated. And I think there was one place that I was partnering with right before the pandemic, and I won't say who, but they're really great. And they were about to publish me, and then the pandemic happened. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I'm so frustrated, I can't do this anymore.
Those you in the comments, insert speculation here.
Yeah, so I just was like, I can't do this shit. I'm tired of. And also, I realized that I wasn't being as creative. Like, I wasn't writing a lot during this time. And I didn't really feel creative because I was giving that power to other people. And I didn't it was really disempowering at the time. So basically, there was another publisher that did take me on, and they were trash. It was I wasn't the name of these people either. But they were.
Continue to speculate in the comments, folks. Tell me who you think it is. I'm not going to tell you, but
Yes. All I will say is it was by appearances, a black-owned publishing company.
By appearances, okay, got you.
Yes, but it was owned by a white man who had done some great stuff to help me with marketing, but ultimately, was kind of only out there for himself. Mm-hmm. And also wasn't really nice to me, and wasn't nice to any of the black people that worked under him. It felt like I was like, something feels off about this. It's a black-owned company by appearances, but it's owned by a white man, and all these black people are working for him. And then in our emails and group chats, we would just kind of it felt very much plantation-y. And I just didn't like how I was being treated. So I said, hey, I'm done, I'm out. Yeah. And it took a minute because I think at the time I was really inspired by Image Comics and Robert Kirkman, Sebastian Jones, who you should interview, who has Stranger Comics. And just
what was his name?
Sebastian Jones, who owns Stranger Comics.
Okay, I'll put that name down. If you can make a contact, I'll definitely contact him.
Yeah. And basically, he, whenever I talk to, Sebastian's one of the reasons why, Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer is going to be a good show, because he gave the comic to his producing partner, Prentice Penny. And so I was very much of the fact that, like, okay, I'm already doing all this stuff on my own. Like, it is hard, but what would I rather do? Work with a group of people who will significantly slow the process down, or work with people who will significantly slow the process down, or grit it out by myself and with like a few people who I'm already working with. Mm-hmm. I have an amazing editor. I have an amazing printing partner, and I was working with someone who was helping me bridge the gap financially to at least, because usually most of the time with comic books you can make a ton of money, but ultimately the money you make from sales, you reinvest it back into the company.
Make more comics, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so it's like a constant like hassle. I'm okay, let me see if I can find a distribution company to partner with. And people already love Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer. And more importantly for creators, than people loving your product, people have to like you. And I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I was grateful that people liked me, and right. They enjoyed my comic book as well as enjoying talking to me. So
yeah. 20
I'm
minutes
like,
into it, I still like talking to you. I get it.
thanks, Travis. I like talking to you. I like, my girlfriend hates when I make that voice. I like talking to you too, I mean.
All right.
Yes, I
Sound more manly. Yes.
Yeah, I just get really excited. But no, I really was of the fact that okay, let me do this with my friends and people that I trust. And Kingwood was already in the back of my mind, but I was always too scared to do it because I was afraid of not only afraid of the work and responsibility of it. Not really afraid of the work, but the responsibility of like, okay, because sometimes like things happen, and when it's your company, usually I'm used to being an employee. When I show up to work and I'm waiting for my boss to show up to tell me what to do. And with this, it's like, oh shit, I'm the boss now.
Everybody's waiting on you to tell them what they need to do next. Yeah, that's kind of what happens with this a lot. Like I got other people I work with who are all just waiting, like, what do we do next? I'm like, fuck you, me. That thing.
Yeah, and a lot of that, and sometimes that can be really empowering, and sometimes that can be scary.
Well, scary as hell sometimes. Yeah, I know. There's times where it's just like, okay, I'm looking for for this to start happening, this to start happening. Okay, this should happen now. Oh wait, this isn't happening. What do I tell them now? And it's just I get
exactly. It. And it's all on you. And I mean, if you have a great team, they will help you through it. And they'll work with you, and if you have a really good group, you can kind of like assess, okay, this is this person's talent and they can do that. This is this person's talent. I know they're better at this than me. And having your own company, it's a reflection of everyone else's vision, and also which I'm still working on this because I'm only like I'm year 3 into this. Like I started this company July of 2020.
Okay.
And
oh man, right in the heart of the pandemic. Okay.
Yeah, man. Because I really did think that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have my own. I'm gonna find. I really did. If I could do it all over again, I would have. I'm glad I went through the trials and tribulation of talking to different publishers over the course of those 3 years and being either rejected or us having months of back and forth creative differences. Also because we have this TV deal now, right? And if I was working with one of these companies, I would be largely pushed out of that.
Right, you wouldn't be able to do it if you were say if you had gotten picked up by the wrong one of the big boys. Definitely couldn't do a show with Disney now. So it's just
I couldn't do it. With my own company, I can kind of move and go wherever I want.
Yeah,
and it's Kingwood is an umbrella for all of my intellectual properties, and also if I want to work with someone, I can be like, oh, I'm gonna make this comic book with this guy, and I can do that, and I can empower them to make their own thing. But yeah,
that's all. Just man, sometimes I wonder why did I meet certain people, but now there's speaking to you that's why I met him. It's the kind of stuff I needed to hear. It's just. You get frustrated sometimes with things when you're working on them and all that, but seeing somebody who's gone through, who's accomplished things that you're trying to accomplish, it's great to hear.
But
I'm saying is I appreciate you, David. That's all.
I appreciate you too, man. I'm happy to say to be a mouthpiece. But again, some days are amazing and some days are great, and some days you're like, oh shit, we have to. I made a lot of money. This is great. But oh shit, I had to pay this bill for FedEx for shipping a bunch of my books.
Yes.
And then they made a mistake and now they're charging me. And I'm like, fuck, I thought I had more money. But that's life, life is all about ups and downs.
That does sound like life. I thought I had more money.
Yeah. I did New York City Comic Con. And it was the most money I have ever made at a convention, ever. And I was ecstatic. I was like, yeah, we made so much money. This is dope. This is cool. Everything is great. Everything is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and then, we made all this money. And then I was completely sold out of the graphic novel, the one that you're holding right now. I was completely sold out.
You're talking about this one? This one right
Yes,
here?
that one.
Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer? This one right here?
Yes.
I was people should be getting, like, they should all be getting it. Like,
yes.
You know, where can they find this one that day? Where can they get it at?
They can get it. Can you do that again? Oh, wait, I'm going to take a screenshot. So, right there. Did it. Yeah, they can get it at www.kingwoodcomics.com. But no, like, we had sold out of all of the graphic novels that I had, and it's the most money I've made at a convention. And I was ecstatic. I was feeling great about myself. And then I was like, okay, we sold out of books. Like, I need to do a reorder of it. So I was doing a reorder, and the price for my book, for printing it at this printing company, because of like probably like paper, trees, taxes.
Taxes.
Yeah, paper, trees, taxes. I think they had been using a what's it called? Some of the places where they print paper was in the Ukraine. And they're like, yeah, we can't go there, buddy. So we're gonna print all of these books in Seattle. And I was like,
oh, so you go to the most expensive place in the country. And
yeah.
Not quite, but it's up there. It's on the West Coast.
Oh, hell yes. like
it's not LA, but it's
not
Seattle.
LA, but damn, Seattle. I was shocked. Like, man, most money I have spent doing a convention was in Seattle. But like, basically the price for printing my books had doubled, and I was like, oh, dude, that's all of the money I made at New York City. That's like a good chunk of the money I made at New York City Comic Con. Oh no! So yeah, I didn't get that. So it was like, made all this money, and then it's like, oh.
I didn't actually make all that money. That money's not mine. Oh.
Very humbling experience. But yeah, so you just go through things, and things happen, but it's all just part of the journey. Like, I was feeling kind of down the other day, and I just remembered like Robert Kirkman. And this is like the 90s. With inflation, I think he was like over $50,000 in debt. And with inflation, and this is like the 90s, because he was just living off of credit cards. And he was like sharing.
Oh, he had fantastic credit though. He was white. So.
Oh, hell yes. Being a white man. Quite. I was just like, I'm like, bro, at least you could. And so like with inflation, I was like, that's $200,000, brother, and wasn't making that amount of money back when it came to his stuff. So I was just like, I'm like, bro, at least you like have that shit. Like, when we are black in this motherfucker, like, man, I was trying to get a business loan from my own bank. and they were just like, they were like, can you show up in person, Mr. Crownson, to sign the paperwork? And I was like, I should send a white friend.
And it sounds like they're trying to figure out like what I look like first.
Exactly. There was all this like, all of this shit. They're like, can you please send us your driver's license? I was like, you sketchy asses. And then they did all that shit, and then mysteriously was rejected and
Of
had to
course.
apply again
Mhm.
in 6 months. They're like, because your business is only 2 years old, Mr. Crownson. And I'm like, noted.
Well,
Bang.
I know plenty of brand new businesses that get loans when they first start. So
Yeah, like haven't made $1 of sales, and they're like $500,000. Do
yeah,
what you gotta do.
exactly.
So yeah, man. I've just been so just looking at other people's stories and seeing. I'm also just really inspired by entrepreneurship and also working for yourself. Like, like I think some of the times I've been the most depressed in my life was when I had, not when I had a job, but when I had a job where I was treated badly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't mind working, I don't mind having a job. I do mind having a job where I'm treated terribly by the team or by the boss. And I'm like, yeah, why are y'all treating me like shit? I'm just trying to come in here and do work and collect a direct deposit every 14 days. But can y'all not be this extra?
It's funny because I tell people a lot the pandemic is actually the best thing that ever happened to me in my adult life, because I was working at a hotel. I'll say it, the fucking Omni in San Antonio, where I was working. And I didn't realize how fucking miserable that place was making me until I didn't have to go in there anymore. Like, the pandemic hit and we all got furloughed, pretty much everybody that worked there got, except for like some security people and a couple of managers to make sure, just watch the building, make sure nobody stole nothing, broke in there, nothing like that. You know? So I was off for all of March. The end of March, all of April, all of May, part of June, just sitting at home. Part of that time I flew to Florida to visit family. I stayed there for like a month because I ain't had shit else to do. But during that time, I realized, like, yo, this place was really making me miserable, and I made a career change at that point. I'm like, okay, well, I've been talking about, getting my license to sell insurance all this time anyway. I got time now. I get this done. I ain't got to go back. And they called me back before I got another job, but I did get got the license, which was also one of the hardest things I've ever done. But mostly because I have a hard time just focusing and studying, because I'm one of those kids that grew up like, well, you grew up in the 90s. I had ADD, but they didn't recognize that I had ADD because they didn't care back then. But yeah, I remember them calling me to go back to work. I was actually like at my parents' house in their pool, just chilling. And the phone rang, and I looked and I'm like, God damn it. And like I didn't even answer when they called, but it was just like the way that I felt when that phone rang and then wanted me to go back, like, I do not want to go back there. And I had to for like, the month of July and most of August. And the whole time it was just like, as soon as I get another job, I'm out of here. Like, it's just like, there's no way. I was supposed to start the new job at the end of September. I was out of that place in August. I'm like, I'll be broke for a month. I'm okay. Like, it's just
yeah, man. Because it's like,
I didn't like the way they treated me. I didn't like the way they treated other people. I didn't like the way that they talked to me at times. It was just like, you know what? No, I don't need to deal with this all the time. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, but before the pandemic, the last job I had before just doing book signings and going on tour, the last job I had, I worked at a restaurant, and it was like a fancy corporate restaurant. And I enjoyed the job. It was fine. It kept me paid. Most money I made being like a waiter, and making about $70,000 a year from waiting tables at this place.
Same with me when I was at the Omni. It was like the most money I ever made being a valet.
Man,
was good.
And sometimes that's why like money it can be a distraction a little bit, because I wasn't writing, because I was also like tired, and I also don't have as much energy as I would want to you know, and I had just done a Kickstarter too,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like really hard. So one day I got really sick at work, like this virus, again, before the pandemic, but this virus came and just hit the whole entire staff.
Mm-hmm.
And 20 of us all got really sick.
So was it some kind of stomach flu or something, or?
Yeah, it was called like gasocentric something. And Travis, I've never been sick like that badly in my entire life. Like just a fever, and I really thought I was gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And I called out of work. I was like, "Hey, I'm sick. I can't come in. Like, I caught whatever's been in the air." And they were mad at me that I didn't want to come to work sick.
Yeah, you didn't want to go in with that virus and give it to all your customers. Now they think they got food poisoning from your food and everything. And now they suing y'all. Why would you want that?
Exactly. And what was obnoxious and selfish about this place is I got sick because they weren't letting people come into work. They weren't letting people off because they were sick. And it's like, yo, don't let people come in. We're fucking sick. What are you doing? And then so I'm like, yo, I'm not coming. I'm sorry, I can't come. And they were mad and they fired me because of it.
Wow.
And I was like, what? I was shocked. I was, because I realized I've only been fired. That was the second time I've been fired from a place. Like I don't get fired. If I'm fired, it's either because someone hated me for some weird reason, or that instance. Like I've never been fired from a place before. So that was like shocking to me, and I just was like, I'm like, yo, I was sick and probably dying.
Yeah.
And these people were looking to replace me. So no one can replace me at Kingwood Comics, and unless I say so.
Right.
And then I got worried because these people were controlling like how I get money, you know, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
You know.
I've never been comfortable with that. And it's funny, it's partly for me because growing up, my father had his own business. It was a lawn care service. I worked for him when I was younger, when I was like in high school. It's funny because you heard at the beginning all the list of, you know, nicknames I have and all that kind of stuff. None of those I gave myself. Like the one T Money came because when I was in high school, I just always had money. Well, it was because I worked for my dad and I made good money doing it. I'm like, if I make this much, how much is he making? You know? And he was in charge of it. It was all him. And it was just like, ever since then, I've never been comfortable putting in all this work to make money for somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, you know, we're doing all of this work, we're putting in all this time, and I'm like killing myself for this company that would, like, it reminded me of this tweet I saw later on, where this woman was tweeting that, like, yo, they're thinking of firing my coworker who does great work, and he's never called out in the 2 years that I've been here, but he called out. We all social distance because of COVID, and he's been sick, and they're thinking of firing him because he hasn't been to work in 3 days because he's sick. And I'm really shocked. Nothing. Yeah, and then they all had a meeting, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna fire Ralph or whatever." I'm just making up a name.
Yeah, we'll go with Ralph. That's his name now.
Yeah, so they were gonna fire Ralph, and then Ralph died.
Oh damn!
He died, and she was just like, in that moment, she's like, I think she was like a business owner who.
Gesundheit.
She just was like, this just goes to show everyone, don't work at a place that will replace you. If you're gonna die, if you have a job, you know, if that's like, yo, this is my career, cool, do that job. But if it's something that you are not passionate about, that cool, do what you got to do to make that money. but don't be so fully invested because they don't give a shit about you.
Yeah.
Everyone that works, they're all my friends, but everyone that I work with at Kingwood, I give a fuck about. Sorry for cursing. Like,
I don't know if you noticed the name right here.
I give a shit about my editor-in-chief. I give a shit about my chief operating officer. I will go bend over backwards to make sure they are taken care of and to make sure that they're okay. And also they do the same for me, which I appreciate because and again, things got really rough during the pandemic and my whole entire book tour, I had a 12-month book tour scheduled and it got canceled. And I was homeless. I had to move in with my family for a while. And I'm not 30. I'm living with my mom. What's happening?
Yeah.
What happened to my life? But then, because you always hear these songs of that can kind of be detrimental a little bit. I was laughing at the "I Don't Want No Scrubs" song. And then he's like, live at home with your mama. Oh, yes, son. I'm talking to you. And then someone did a remix of it. He's like, yeah, what if he's just being financially irresponsible? He's like, damn it, right now, for a 2-bedroom and a 2-bathroom bathroom is $3,000 in some places. What if he's trying? You don't know his situation. What if he's trying to work?
He trying to better himself. What the hell?
Exactly. He's trying to better himself. He's like, you're driving it in your passenger side of your best friend's ride. He's like, yo, my best friend's an Uber driver, damn it. To get a car.
Well, I say we carpooling today. I got a car. All right.
Exactly. I'm trying to better myself. So at first,
saving on gas.
Exactly. So at first, my self-esteem was took a big hit. But then I had just realized, okay, I'm not some dude who's doing nothing.
Right.
And but also give yourself a lot of grace when you're doing this because it's hard. This is but then I had to realize, okay, what's harder? Gritting it out on my own business, my own company, eating some humble pie, and living with my family that was happy to have me. Or, I have my own apartment. I have my own nice, awesome car that isn't a 2010 Mazda. And, but I'm working at a company where I'm depressed.
You gotta remember to take care of yourself mentally.
Exactly. My worst day working for myself is 100 times better than my best day working for anyone else.
Because it's still yours. Yeah.
Exactly. The amount of money I think, it's because at least if I failed at Kingwood Comics, it was my failure. Mm-hmm. I own that, and then I learn from it and I move forward and hope to God it doesn't happen again. At my job, if I make a mistake, they can be like, well, I guess we gotta fire David now. I might feel like I'm being treated a certain way. So, but yeah, I really, I came to that conclusion. My girlfriend isn't here, but when I was thinking about her, I was like, my worst day with you is better than my best day with anyone else that I dated.
Amen.
Because you and I will talk through our problems and work through it. Whereas someone else might not. But it's all about how, because not every day is perfect.
Right.
Again, this stuff, I stress, this is a hard thing. If I had gotten picked up by one of these big name publishers, I would be ecstatic. But the fact that my company, my namesake, something I created, no matter what, it says founded by David Crownson, CEO David Crownson. Like, I would be, someone thought I was crazy when I said this. I would be happy making $100,000 a year from doing Kingwood Comics than being a multi-millionaire having my book published by another company that controls it.
Yeah, I can see. I understand.
Yeah.
I also see why they called you crazy, but I understand why that would work for you too. It's just one of those things. Like, but people who like, what I say that is, I mean, people who don't have that drive to have their own in that sense, I can see why it would be crazy to them. But in somebody who understands that and knows how it feels to have your own and seeing how it all is, I get why you said, like, yeah, I'd rather have this.
Because your mental health is important, yo. I've seen people who have signed away their stuff, and I was like, oh, man, I wish I had that deal. I wish they picked up Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer. Like, look at you, man. You're doing great. But I could see like a certain amount of drive was being sucked out, and still now, I make my choices based off creativity, and also I own a company, so I got to think about the financial aspects of it. But whenever I've seen someone make a choice that was finances were the number one choice why they made that decision, and the only reason why they made that decision. Like, I think this was years ago. I was hanging out with a friend, and I bumped into a friend at a party, and he was like, I think he's like some type of business accountant, corporate something. And he's like, yeah, I got a penthouse. I have my own house. I drive a Corvette and all this other stuff. I was like, dude, that's amazing. You're doing so good right now. And at the time, I was working at Olive Garden at the time. So I was like, dude, this is amazing. You're doing so great. Like, and he was like, oh, I'm miserable. I hate myself. I hate my life. It's like, what? And he was like, yeah, I have a kind of a drug problem because I hate my life so much. I need to numb myself. And I was like, but you have money. You have money. My voice went high pitched. I'm like, you have money. Like, what do you mean you don't like it?
What's that? You got it made, bro. Like you.
And then, like, the crazier part was, he's like, no, man, like, you have all this figured out. I'm like, no, bro, I work at Olive Garden. No, I don't have this figured out. I was like 25 at the time. I was like, I work at Olive Garden. I don't have any of this shit figured out. He's like, yeah, but you're doing something that you love creatively, and you don't hate yourself when you wake up in the morning. I was like, you don't know that, man. I work at Olive Garden. He's like, no, but like, and then he got really philosophical. He's like, man, I hate myself when I go to bed. I hate myself when I wake up. And I hate myself in the middle of the day.
Damn.
And I buy all these things, and they temporarily fill me up, but it doesn't do anything for me. And then I was just like,
he can't give it up because he's stuck in it, because that's how he's living life. So yeah.
Exactly. When you have $500,000 in the bank off of doing something you hate, and then later on, he just was like, hey, do you want to go do coke in the bathroom? And I was like, no.
No, I do coke in my living room like a civilized human being. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but yeah, he's just doing all of this like other stuff. And like, last I heard, he had I got to check on this friend, because last I heard he was in the hospital because he had an overdose.
Yeah.
And that's serious. So I've just been like, okay, if I make millions of dollars and some other company publishes Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, does a terrible job editing it and putting it together, like I can live fine, if I'm making, I will be happy making $100,000 a year doing Kingwood Comics. Like, I don't need, it'd be great if it happens, but I don't need the mansion. I'm content with like, hey, can I afford food? Can I afford to keep myself healthy and a place to lay my head down? And
decent house, be able to go out to eat when you want to take the girl out to eat,
Exactly.
Take her on a vacation every now and then. I want to be able to do all that stuff. If I can do that, I'm good. I feel you.
Exactly. So just really focusing on those things. And when you do that, those other things will come, like the publisher that I was just telling you about who, he promised me the moon, and he basically was just like, he's like, yo, I'm gonna make you wealthy, I'm gonna make you rich, but I didn't see the results of that, and he was going to own a large piece of my company, but provided nothing. And so only a few, like maybe a month, 3 months after I left this guy, got the rights back to Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, started my own company, we met Princess Penny, and got this TV development deal done.
That's fantastic.
So just kind of taking, really pay attention to your guns. I'm Christian, but whatever works for anyone else. I say pray on it, meditate on it, and see where God takes you. And so
okay,
that's my sermon, everybody.
Amen. All right, so I got a few more questions I want to ask you here.
Mm-hmm.
So this next one I'm gonna ask you actually is probably the most important question I'll ever ask you, David. So prepare yourself. What's your favorite dinosaur?
Everyone says T-Rex.
I know.
I really like. I think it's called a bronchosaurus.
Big nigga with the neck.
No, that's not. It's like it looks like a triceratops mixed with a rhinoceros, but its whole entire back is like it has almost like a hardened shell on it. I forget what type of dinosaur it is.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know what that one's called either. Now that you mention it, but I know what you mean. Hold on, let me see. Hold on.
It literally looks
like a club on his tail, like thing.
Yes.
Hold on.
Actually, hold up. Wait.
I'm pulling it up right now. I got you. Ankylosaurus?
Yes.
Yeah. Hold on. If I can pull this up here, I'll just share this with you. This nigga right here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. I just think that dude's cool, and no one can fucking kill him.
You're right.
Like that guy, like he just lives in offensively. So, yeah, that's my favorite dinosaur.
Okay. All right, David. What is the first creative experience you remember having?
I made a comic strip. I didn't know what I was doing, but when I was 6 or 7 years old, and I drew it on the back of a Sesame Street coloring book. Mm-hmm. It was 2 bugs who were making a road trip from New Jersey to Hollywood, and they were going to make a movie.
You're from New Jersey, right?
Yeah, I'm from New Jersey. And these 2 bugs flew to Hollywood, and it was terribly drawn. It just says we made it to Hollywood, we made it. And I didn't know I was going to be in LA doing all this stuff, but
right.
But here we are.
Okay. What inspires you?
What inspires me is love and people who are faced with overwhelming life circumstances and find a way to overcome them through teamwork. And by and teamwork, that could just be with like they come together with their friends and they attack this problem together and they overcome it. And also just like, yeah, and God, prayer, Jesus, all that good stuff. Fun inspires me. Love inspires me. Bliss inspires me.
I feel you. What mainstream creations out there really excite you? What out there gets your blood pumping, David?
Again with Robert Kirkman, I really love Invincible. I really love the Marvel Cinematic Universe when they take themselves a little bit seriously.
Okay.
Well, when they're like a 50-50 split of drama and comedy. When it's all comedy and silly, goofy, no stakes, that I'm like, I love y'all, but what the fuck is this shit? Why did I sit here for 2 hours for no stakes and no consequences? Yeah, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, love everything DC that's animated. I love The Last of Us.
That show. You watched the most recent episode?
Yes, I did.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Yes, I did.
I wasn't supposed to go. It's supposed to be more evergreen. I wasn't supposed to do that, but whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I miss Atlanta so much. I love Atlanta. I love that show. I miss it. I'm so angry it's gone.
We should write Donald Glover a letter.
I should just be like, yo, bro, you can literally make that show forever. You can literally make that show forever.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Like, I live in Atlanta now and I see it. I'm like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, please bring that show back. Anywho, yeah, Atlanta and Insecure, those are my favorite shows.
Oh, okay. What lesser known creations out there excite you? Stuff that's not on the mainstream radar, but you've seen it and you're just like, oh, this is dope, and this is something that I'm excited for these people. I'm excited that this exists. You know?
Yeah, I really like the work that Dream Fury Comics is doing.
Okay.
They have the book. Oh wait, I have it right here.
Well, look at you, prepared and shit on accident.
Didn't even know. Creatia Demon Eater, and also we'll just present everyone's books. Shattered Visions from Ray Comics, and it's a collaboration between my friends Newton and TJ Sterling. They made this book. And also, I really love the work that Godhead Comics is doing with the antagonist. But I also am really enjoying this book, GTD, Galactic Patrol Delta. Yes, the antagonist. The love what Paul is doing.
Love these two, man. Like, yeah.
And also, again, with Dream Fury Comics, Crescent City Monsters. So, those are comics I really love and really enjoy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wasn't expecting to bring up the antagonist on this one, but I'm happy we did. I love that one as well.
Yeah, it's a great setting for just like, because it's like, okay, what if we do the Incredibles, but it's super villains? Yeah. and like, but like not like goofy Disney super villains. Like, oh, these people like fucking like fucked you up.
Yeah. I kind of took the same approach because I do a lot of tabletop RPGs, specifically more D&D than anything else. And I started a campaign with my podcast people that I do on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. We've only done one episode so far, but with me, I was like, let's flip that. Y'all are villains. We are the people that the heroes are trying to stop. Start off small kind of thing, like, just take over this one town, little crime family kind of thing, taking collection money and shit, but you got magic. It's really cool until you feel like you got like, you on the grand, almost evil god level, and these heroes are trying to stop you, kind of thing. You're trying to take over the world itself. Like, I like that flip, because it's just everybody. Heroes happen all the time. Where's what the villains got going on? I know they got dreams and desires and a backstory.
Exactly. I don't think we really get to see that. I think a lot of the times, like, people are afraid. I think some creatives or the higher executives, they're afraid of showing Black people or Black families in a quote unquote like a negative light. Mm-hmm. I think we need to see that, and I don't think it's even negative, because it's like, okay, if I was out of all the jobs I've had and experiences I've had as a Black man in America, mm-hmm. the amount of racism, microaggression, unfairness that I've experienced, if you gave me Superman's powers for not even for a day, it's just like, yo, you got these powers now.
Yeah. Speaking of lesser known creations, they'd be full on Brightburn.
Exactly. Yeah. I would like. I don't want to say, but I would have a lot of influence.
Yeah.
On the world.
Yeah. Because all the times, those, like I said, the microaggressions, how they pick at you a little bit at a time. Just like, are you kidding me right now?
Exactly.
Even when I worked at the hotel, there are certain times they would say things to me, and they were like, "So I look angry all the time." Now this is just how I'm just standing here. I'm not making an angry. I look angry and aggressive because I'm Black. That's what's happening here. So you want me to smile all the time?
Oh,
so you
hell
feel
yeah.
less threatened by me. That's what you're telling me.
Oh yeah, bro. I had the opposite happen to me, where I had a job working at a gym. It was Equinox, and I was like I try to be like a happy, positive guy. I can't just be like, but like if I'm feeling good, I'm gonna be like a happy guy. And one lady didn't like it. So I don't like when you smile. It sends the wrong message. And I was like,
that I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I was like, what message? She's like, yeah, I just don't like seeing it. So stop it. And then I just was like, that's just who I am.
He said, and I quote, "Yo, Black ass better stop being so happy."
Exactly. And to the point where they would just do things to make sure I wasn't like smiling. Like, all right, David, you're on towel duty. Or sometimes we worked at this gym, so I would get like free. I could do my laundry there too. So and they would be like, yeah, you're not allowed to do your laundry. Like any little thing they could do to make sure they're like, okay, David, you're not allowed to do your laundry. David, your breaks are only 15 minutes now. And if you're late, you can't, like, we're gonna take away your hours. And just to break me down into submission. And I just couldn't do it. So, like, yeah, man.
What puts you in a creative state of mind, especially when you're struggling to create?
I need to be by myself. I've also realized, like, I have to be in a library sometimes, or either I gotta be by myself, isolated, and I listen to like a binaural beat for creativity that puts your brain in a creative focus entrainment.
What's that? What's it called?
It's a binaural beats. It's I'll send you the link on Instagram. You can look it up they're all on YouTube. You just type in creative focus, but not binaural beats. Mm-hmm. And it's basically like a music tone, it's like a sound, and it puts your brain, it activates creativity in your brain, and it activates focus. And it's done wonders for me as a person who also has a case of ADHD and grew up having it. So I highly recommend listening to those. Even like listen to those for 20 minutes before you do anything creative.
I'd be interested in trying that out because I'm one like I can't work with music going because it distracts me. So it's just
Well, like it distracts you because I think anything that has lyrics, unless I'm writing like an action sequence, I need that energy. But if I'm just like brainstorming and thinking, like I will play those either in the background or I'll put it in my headphones. So yeah, I highly recommend doing that. But yeah.
Okay. David, what does creativity mean to you?
Creativity means taking either having it be a blank canvas and then turning that blank canvas into a rainbow, putting like different colors on, or taking what is and turning it upside down, or taking something. I'm obsessed with this quote. They say, when it's easy, anyone can do it. When it's hard, an artist can do it. Creativity is taking, like, for example, I think some of the most creative filmmakers working right now are Edgar Wright and Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who did Spider-Verse and did, like, they will give us things that we think are terrible ideas, then make them great. Like, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, they made Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and you're like, yo, that's gonna be a movie where it's based off of a 8-page children's book. How is that gonna be a movie? And then they make this movie, and like, we care about it. Like, their whole career just feels like a bet to make something shitty and sloppy, but then they turn in these heartfelt, nuanced, character-based films that we care about. Like, okay, I want you to remake 21 Jump Street with Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. And this is before, like, they have a great status now, but at the time they were kind of like, it wasn't looking too great.
Channing Tatum hadn't done Magic Mike yet.
Yeah, hadn't done Magic Mike, and was freaking Step Up 1. like that was his most famous thing, and just being like the handsome guy in dramas, and he was kind of bland. But him being in this comedy that was well written and well done, like 21 Jump Street, and then 22 Jump Street, and then, Lego Movie and Spider-Verse. Like, I think creativity is taking things that look like they're going to fail and basically not just fail, but are just kind of one note, and then making them three-dimensional, making them nuanced, and making an entire group of people care about it and be affected. That's creativity. And also just kind of connecting with that inner child and letting that inner child go. Because, I find myself when I'm writing, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to find the artist here, the creativity, the Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer. But it's like, the comic is called Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer. We have to allow ourselves to play. Like, I've realized a lot of my stuff has a lot of a sense of play in it. And we can still be serious and have stakes with it, but I think we have to allow ourselves the grace to play. Because that also reminds me, because my background is in acting, and it just reminds me of something that an acting teacher said to me, because I was taking this play so seriously. He's like, David, it's a play. Just play. So that's creativity.
Gotcha. What's something that you know now that you wish you knew at the start of your creative journey?
I wish I'm glad I went through it. But if I could do it all over again, I would have started my own publishing company straight up. And done the whole, I have a business account, a personal account. I would have done that. Instead of like, and also not like assuming that, people are going to just take me on based off like a $40,000, which they did. But yeah, just not putting my own trust in these other publishing companies. And I wish I had started, because I waited, what was it? I waited three to 4 years to start my own publishing company, and I wish I had trusted myself and had been more confident in myself to just do it. But I'm glad I went through those experiences because it gave me the confidence just to do it now. Gotcha. So,
just to be clear, what was the name of that publishing company again?
Wait, my publishing company?
Yeah, what was the name of your publishing company again?
Kingwood Comics, everyone.
Kingwood Comics. You all make this one, right? Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer. That's what y'all
Kingwood
make. This one right here.
Yes.
Gotcha.
We make Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer.
Just making sure, you know. All right.
Yes. And Kingwood is named after my hometown growing up.
All right. Okay. All right, David. We're gonna head into this last portion of the interview here. We're gonna play a little game. I know you've been familiar with it, called This or That.
Okay.
We're gonna play this. I have 4 rules though.
Okay.
Number 1 rule: you must answer.
I will.
Number 2: you cannot say both.
Okay.
Number 3: you cannot say neither.
Okay.
Rule number 4: no elaborating, no explaining. You just answer it and we move on.
Got it.
All right. Got a bunch of them here, but I'm going to choose them randomly. So first one here: night or morning?
Night.
Guacamole or salsa?
Salsa.
Misunderstood after death or forgotten after death?
Ooh. Misunderstood.
Animals or people?
People.
Sort by price or sort by rating?
Sort by rating.
Owe money or owe a favor?
Owe money.
Night out or night in?
Night in.
Ninjas or pirates?
Ninjas.
City or countryside?
Countryside.
Last one: smartest person in the world or richest person in the world?
Smartest person in the world.
All right. That's it. Thank you, David. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. I had a great time talking with you. I told you earlier, now it's been an hour and 12 minutes. I have definitely enjoyed speaking to you. I know when I first met you over a couple weekends ago, we chopped it up for a good hour, before I realized how long I've been standing there talking to you. So
that's right. Yeah. I asked you. It was during a slow time during it. I was like, let me just hang out. Yeah. You and your girlfriend were lovely to talk to. So thank you for having me on, man. And, I like doing these because sometimes we forget about the journey because we get so into the work. I have to leave in 6 minutes because I have another thing to work on. But I feel more inspired just talking and reflecting.
That's awesome.
So this is really great. So thank you so much for having me.
Well, you're welcome. And like I said, thank you. And also everybody watching, thank you for watching. If you're not watching on youtube.com/Creatia World, you should, and you should subscribe there. Hit that subscribe button, ring that little notification bell so you know every time we drop something there. We also live every day, Monday through Friday at lunchtime, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central Time. We are live on YouTube and twitch.tv/Creatia World for the Creatia conversation, where we're talking all the nerdy-ish news that has come out in the last 24 hours. Great fun. Also, if you want to throw us a little support, you can hit us on Patreon at patreon.com/Creatia World. You go there, you throw us $1, you get some of the extra stuff we do. We got, extra podcasts with myself and the Warden Matt Ritter. We're looking at old wrestling, at old WCW stuff from the 90s. Return to Wrestling. Every month, a new episode of that comes out. It's worth $1, I promise you. Also, Multiverse with myself and Mara the Shark Watkins, where we're going through a lot of old animated cartoon movies and stuff. Like right now, we're working our way through the DC stuff. You mentioned earlier, animated DC stuff is awesome. It really is. We just did Constantine, City of Demons. Next, we're doing Wonder Woman Bloodlines. That's actually going to be recording soon. Let's see. We also have, other things on higher tiers, but these are where you get the extra stuff right here just for $1. Also, if you just want to know more about us and what we do, you go to creatiaworld.com. That's where you learn all about us and who we are. You want to know little quirky things like what's my favorite ice cream? It's right there at creatiaworld.com. All the shows we do and everything, all there at creatiaworld.com. The links provided as well. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at It's Creatia World. That is at ITSCREATIA World. I'm not going to tell you how to spell world because if you don't know how, I need you to get it together. All right? Get it together. I believe that's it, though. Well, also facebook.com/Creatia World. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you again, David. I really appreciate this. We will see y'all on the next edition. But until then, we out.
Awesome. Bye, y'all. Thank you so much.